Welcome to Racquet Biz, the only podcast that delivers data-driven insights into today's rackets industry. New clubs are opening consistently in the United States and all over the world. Some make it, some go out of business quickly. As an investor and facility operator, what is it that you need to know to create constant cash flow and consistent long-term ROI? Join me for today's episode. Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Dominique Lemperle. Today's guest is Matt Lund, the CEO of the Pickleball Club in Lakewood Ranch, Florida. Matt is an accomplished executive leader with over 16 years of experience as an executive director and CEO. His leadership has been pivotal in transforming organizations through strategic planning, operational management, and growth initiatives. Matt's expertise includes multi-facility management, fundraising, staff development, transitional leadership, and board leadership, with a proven track record in revitalizing struggling organizations. Welcome, Matt, to the pod.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank you for that great introductory.
You're welcome, and thank you for taking the time. I know you're a very busy man. Thanks for taking the time out of your day. First, I want to ask you, tell me a little bit about your background. Where did you grow up? What racket sports did you grow up playing? And what eventually motivated you to become CEO?
Yeah, so I grew up out on the West Coast in California, not too far outside of the San Francisco area. And, I was lucky enough to grow up in a beautiful area that, you go 1 hour, one direction, you're at the beach, and the other hour I was in the mountains. And so outdoor recreation was just everywhere for me. And it was a populated enough area that it really brought a lot of good talented athletes. And so it gave me an opportunity to find challenges with whatever sport I went into. And funny enough, I actually never grew up playing any racket sports. I grew up playing soccer and football and baseball and basketball. And I was blessed enough to go to a great high school where I played baseball and basketball, and I ended up getting a full-ride basketball scholarship in college. Played a little bit beyond college as well. But really didn't have any racket sports background, but absolutely loved just the competitive part of sports and having an opportunity to meet people and compete against. And so it's always really been in my nature just to compete and obviously the social aspect of it. And so what really, as I got older and went through college and then my playing days were over, it was really more about how can I make an impact on just the communities I lived in, whether it was the direct community or communities around me. It was how can I take what I've learned in the years of playing and the social aspects and just general leadership aspects is really where I wanted to strive and look to thrive in a career of leading an organization. And so before I became the CEO here at the Pickleball Club, my main career was at the YMCA for about 16 years, and 10 of those years I was the CEO of a few different Ys around the country.
Understood. And can you walk us through this process? You and your family, your wife, Stephanie, and your kids, you have 4 kids. You were living a successful life in Wisconsin. You get a call or you get recruited by the Pickleball Club, and you decide to uproot your life and move to Florida, and you arrive in December, and a couple weeks later the club goes bankrupt. What goes through your mind? How does your family react? And then you make the decision to wait 6 months and get rehired there as the CEO of the Pickleball Club under new ownership.
Yeah.
Walk us through that process. What kind of risks did you take, and why did you decide to stay put and reopen the club?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot there. I think it's a great question, but there's obviously a lot that took place over the last roughly year. So, yes, I have 4 kids. My wife and I, we've been into pickleball since really the middle of the pandemic. We've been playing for about 4.5 years. Again, we were blessed enough to be recognized by Selkirk, which put us under a pro player contract, our whole family. And we were traveling the U.S. playing pickleball, and we found ourselves down here in Florida quite often competing in tournaments. And as my kids got better and they started playing the pro level, and I have 2 younger ones that are around the 3.75-ish, 4.0 level, they're looking to try to continue on and make a career in the pickleball arena. And so the more that my family got into the game of pickleball and the more serious that we got as a family, and again, being down here in Florida, we loved it. We thought we would look to come down this way. And I was looking to transition out of the Y and possibly lead a pickleball facility, whether we were going to look to build one, look to redevelop one, or look to come work with a company that are already established and looking for a new leader to come in.
And you were CEO or GM of the Y, is that correct?
So I was the CEO at the time of Y in Wisconsin, and I've been a CEO in a couple different states and a few different Ys, and it was just time to transition the career, and especially where the passion lied with the kids and with what our family was looking to do, and again looking to come down here to Florida. So we came across the Pickleball Club, and it looked like a great opportunity. Looked like something that would fit and align really well with our family. It was an opportunity that really, on the outside, looked like somebody couldn't pass by, and that we needed to embrace it when the opportunity was presented to myself, and even the conversation I had with my wife. And so, yes, we did come down here, and 2 weeks after we were down here, the company did close, and I think there were a lot of staff that were a little shocked by it, but some, as I'm learning, were not shocked by it. It's amazing how people can hide certain things until you actually are really kind of just you dive into it and you're like, wow, this isn't what I thought it was. And I think that happens in life. And so for us, it was a shock. We had just moved down here, put our kids in school, and my wife and I, we sat back, and at first when it happened, yeah, we were angry, and we were frustrated, we were upset, but at the same time, I believe that we're true Christians, and the thing that we leaned into was God and a lot of prayer, and said, hey, God, what is this for? What do we need to learn by this, and what do we need to do to help our family continue to move forward? And so there was a lot of prayer in the first month, along with a lot of anger. It was definitely like a mourning process of these peaks and valleys of emotions. And it just happened to be that after a couple months, really leaning into God and leading into why we came down here, we ended up meeting some good people along the way, and really never lost hope, and thought there's got to be a bigger picture of this. There's got to be a reason why these things happen. And so I was blessed enough to come across the owner now that owns the Pickleball Club, and myself, my wife, and he and his wife, we went out to lunch, and we talked about this greater vision of how to do it bigger and better than what it was before. And how do we do it to where it's a sustainable model? How do we do it to where we can complement the community and serve the community? And after a great lunch meeting, he said, well, I'm looking to buy the facility, and if it happens, I want you to come in and I want you to lead it. And we want to build on it. And if we make it successful, who knows where it can take us from there? Is that more facilities? Is that growth on what we're doing now? And so now we're going on 5 months of being open. It's been a great relationship between myself and the owner. We're hiring on more staff. Members are coming back. Obviously, there were a lot of members in the area that had a little bit of like PTSD, just because there were a lot of people hurt by the closure. There was a lot of money that went out, a lot of feelings and emotions. And I feel like that's really subsiding now, and it's going away. And so a lot of great positive talk around the community. As far as the finances go, we're doing very, very well. We're on the performa that I built out. We're 5 months in, but where I built out the performa, it was where we're at in month 9. And so we're ahead of projections, which is great. The leagues that we continue to put in, tournaments, those kind of things, they're all going really well. And it's what to be expected with a beautiful facility and just operations being ran right. So it's an exciting time, and we're definitely looking forward to the future as we continue moving forward and as we hire more staff and membership grows. It's just making sure that we do what is right. And I think we will be successful.
Matt, that is so good to hear. I'm so happy for you and your family, honestly. I got to know you guys when I lived in that area as well. And I remember when you took over, at the time it was as the general manager, you surveyed the entire membership. You took days and days, surveyed the membership and listened to them and took their feedback. At the time, the club had a terrible reputation, and it had a toxic environment all around, unfortunately. And members were leaving, members were talking badly about the club, staff was talking badly, and quite frankly, everyone was frustrated and angry. Now, my question is, and what can everybody in the industry learn from this example? How you turn a place around bankrupt and toxic into performing, being ahead of schedule in terms of financial expectations, and now all the employees that went to the competition, I heard, are now coming back.
Yeah.
That's amazing, Matt. Share how you did that.
Yeah, so it's definitely a team effort. It's not just my effort, but I think it's a matter of how the leadership comes together. And I always try to tell people when I hire them on is that I'm not the smartest guy in the room, and I hope I will never be the smartest guy in the room. Is I want to hire people that are smarter than me, that are more talented, that just can show me what I can learn and then how I can support them. And so that's a little bit about the cultural piece, is that we're trying to make sure that we build a very inclusive, very diversified team that has experience coming from all different areas. And yes, the former employees that we had that moved on to competitors that are closer in the area, they've heard what's going on here. They've actually come here to play and visit, and they wanted to come back because they're excited. And so, I welcomed them with open arms and said, hey, let's build something special together here. But as far as the club goes, getting the club up and going, there was a lot to be done in there. And to start with, it was really right before we had opened our doors. My wife and I, and my wife's a great team member here. We do a lot together. Her and I had just gotten on the phone, and we started calling everybody around the country that would talk to us. That have either currently or in the past had run pickleball facilities, West Coast, East Coast, North, South, Midwest, didn't matter. We were calling everybody that we could to find out what they were doing, how they were doing it, their price structure, their operations, what was successful, what wasn't successful. And anybody that would give us the time, we talked to them. And then all that feedback we took back and we documented, and we said, okay, how do we want to design this, and what are we seeing that's successful? And then we took what we learned from the previous club, what didn't work, and then what could work. A lot of data. I'm a huge data guy. Absolutely love data.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so going into the how does it work factor is when you start looking to build facilities like pickleball facilities, they can't be ran like a Lifetime Fitness or an LA Fitness or a Planet Fitness, where a lot of investors or builders are coming in going, oh, we can model this as a gym. You can't. And I know for experience, because of running large multi-million-dollar organizations with a Y and massive, recreation complexes that have aquatic centers and childcare and gyms, is that you can't model this after that because of the square footage and in population won't equate to be the same. And so when you build, like similar to here, when you build a facility that's 40,000 square feet, you can't put in 2,000 members or 5,000 members. It just won't work because you don't have the space to be able to have everybody play. And so the only way you can make a model like this work successfully, and this is where you have to make sure when you hire people, they understand what the company model is, the policies, the operations, is that the model is different. And I think people are still learning because pickleball is so new and these facilities that are going up so fast, is that you have to diversify your revenue. And so pickleball itself will not work on its own. Whether you have a base membership or you do a pay for play, or you try to rent out the facility, it just won't work on its own. And so diversifying your revenue, having a pro shop, having a small cafe, but it doesn't need to be a restaurant. Now, if you go the restaurant style, there obviously a lot of the money is going to be made in the food. But this is more for just a pickleball facility itself, not a restaurant and social entertainment place. But the food can be very important if you do it right. Obviously, any sort of alcohol sales. But for us, we decided to get rid of a couple courts indoors and go from 12 courts to 8. And we built, and currently am building a gym right now. So we'll have a basketball court and volleyball court. It's more rental space that will create revenue for us. One of the other things I did as well is I took our office space that was a big office space that had cubicles in it, completely removed all of them because I believe the staff should be on the floor interacting with members and not hiding up in an office, regardless of what the position is. And so we're up here at my office. I think I've been up here a dozen times in 5 months, and that's just to do some bookkeeping stuff. Other than that, my office is at the bar or at a table.
Yeah.
And so I interact with the members and make sure I'm there to have conversations and learn and see what we're doing, get feedback, and then make adjustments where needed. But we took the office area and we remodeled it into a full health and wellness center. And what really, it's a wellness and recovery center. And that wellness and recovery center has cryo lounges, hydro massage beds, red light therapy beds, and massage chairs. And so we obviously have a lot of senior members that as they play, even if they're not a senior and they're a 25 or 30-year-old adult, when you play, you get soreness and you have inflammation and you get injuries. And so how do you recover from that? And that's what we wanted to be able to support and have as a kind of an amenity here in our center. And so again, we're really diversifying how our revenue streams come in and making sure that we are really making a strategic effort into having a sustainable budget. And that's the big part of it. So hiring on the right people, understanding your direction, the strategic planning, your operations, but then making sure that the things you're putting in are going to make sense to your mission and operations. And that's really what it comes down to. So there's a lot that goes into that, and it's easy to say in 5 minutes here, but it's grinding work every day.
Sure.
10, 12 hours a day. And right now it's 6 to 7 days a week. And we had planned on that as we opened, but as I hire more staff and really as operations continues to build, we'll get the right people in here and continue to move in the right direction.
Yes. Matt, you mentioned sustainable budget. I remember when I was there, I saw so many employees in the club and almost no customers. So I saw where this was headed. The club, eventually it would turn into bankruptcy. It's a no-brainer. So you made a decision to cut the staff significantly. Can you talk about that, how you saved labor costs and how many full-time employees you currently have, full-time, part-time, and 1099 employees?
Sure. So right now we have 5 staff at the desk, and they rotate through the hours. So our hours are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. That is staffed hours Monday through Friday. And then Saturdays and Sundays. One of the things that we did here is that we created a welcoming environment, meaning that whether we're staffed or not, we have operational hours happening. And so we have a keypad at the door. So when a member or a non-member registers for a program, they are emailed a confirmation with a PIN code. And that PIN code allows them to then access our front door and come in and play. And so it
What is the
saves,
name of that technology? Can you share that?
yeah, it's called Brevo. And it
Revo.
actually, yeah, Brevo, it actually works directly with Court Reserve and they communicate with one another. So it recognizes the members that are coming in and also who's trying to put in the codes. So we know who's in our building. And then I also upgraded our security cameras and we have them all over the building. But all of our alcohol locks up, all of our food locks up, and then obviously all of our doors to our offices lock up. And so when people are in here, we'll be able to see them through our security cameras, but we also know who's coming in the door. We know who scans in when they come in. But the important thing is that to save on costs for the employee costs or for staff wages, we're staffed 8 to 8 during the week, but then Saturdays and Sundays, we don't have staff. You can come in through the door code access. Now, I've been here on weekends, typically working because we have people that are still signing up for membership. We have people that are coming in wanting to buy paddles out of our pro shop or bags or shoes. Some people like to come in the afternoon and have some wings or, a beer, and that's great. And as we continue to get busier, we probably will staff a few hours during the weekend. But right now, that's helping save on the overhead, not having an excessive amount of staff that really aren't needed. And then we do have a cleaning crew that comes in every night and cleans and throws out trash. And so everything stays nice and, tidy around here, but it's being smart with how you're staffing things out and not wasting resources.
Right.
So that door access helps. Again, getting the right security camera and being able to monitor who's coming in and out. Some of the other things that we did to really lighten up on the staff, the manning power of that, is that we wanted to make sure all of our systems that we got, whether it's our inventory through our pro shop or our food and beverage program that we use and keeping inventory, we want to make sure that all the systems talk with each other. And so I don't need to hire additional staff to run one side of it or the other side of it. And we also don't run off of a direct server anymore. We run everything through the cloud. So I can work off-site if I'm traveling for volleyball tournaments with my daughter or pickleball tournaments with all my kids or family, is that we can access and do everything that's needed for our customer service aspect, calling back. I can even on my phone, I can make phone calls from my phone as if I'm sitting in my office because of the way I have the phone system set up. So if a member is struggling at the door, they call a number, it rings, and then we can get it moving. And so as staff come in more and we get more people in the right spot, we'll have them set up with the right systems. And so we're being efficient and effective with what we're doing. And I think that was a lot of the demise of the last company that had this place was they just had too many systems in place and not enough people that knew how to use them. And then a lot of hours wasted because they weren't efficient with what they were doing. And that'll kill a company very, very quickly. So to go back to the original question, as far as staffing goes, we have staffed very intentionally around 5 people at the desk. I have 6 pros that are all employed by me, but they only work through the hours that they run the clinics, camps, and lessons. I don't have them just sitting around the facility, really wandering around, not doing anything, and getting paid for it. And so I hire them on. I don't make them do a 1099. And it's because we want to build a team. We want to build a family. And so that's why we're making that commitment to them, and they get employee benefits with it instead of just being a general 1099. And then as far as full-time staff, we'll have 4 full-time staff on here that will really kind of take full ownership of every department. So even myself, yes, I'm the CEO. I'm also part of the, doing back-end admin, bookkeeping. If I need to be the janitor for the day, guess what? I'm grabbing a mop and I'm cleaning bathrooms and toilets. If I need to run the pro shop and sell items, I do that. If I need to go in the kitchen and pour some beer or make some food, I got to do that as well. And if I have to hop on the court, I have my master's coach and instructor certification for pickleball. If I have to hop on and run a clinic or run lessons, then I get on and do it. I'm a certified food manager, and so if I have to get back there and make food and serve, then I do it as well. So it's wearing multiple hats, but it's not just me. It's the other staff that are stepping in and doing those same type of roles. And that's the only way that you can run these type of facilities efficiently and effectively again, and run them at the best that you can. It is before the model here was very much about they would hire somebody and only do one thing. And then
Right.
if you tried to step out of that, you were almost shunned upon or told stay in your lane. And that's just ridiculous. You should never do that.
Right.
That's there's zero reason for it, and it's not good for building an employee culture, but it's also not good to have employees that can never think out of the box.
Right.
And so that's incredibly important. So that's a little bit about the back end stuff and really how we got things going, what our employee structure is like here. And it seems to be working very well.
No, that's very helpful, Matt, just to understand how lean an organization has to run, especially in the startup phase. Maybe later on you can add a little bit more, but at the beginning it has to be lean. And as you said, you're chipping in a lot and you're wearing different hats. Can you walk us through the monthly bills an indoor facility of this size faces every day or every month? What kind of
Oh.
bills do you guys have to pay?
Yeah, well, this facility is a very expensive facility to run, and so that's why you have to be very conscious and strategic around how you're going to run, your staffing and just your inventory, the other things that go with it. It's a 40,000 square foot building. It's a large building. There's a lot of open space. To give you a prime example, just the electric here is a little over $6,000 a month, just for this one building. That doesn't include, your water and gas. Give you a prime example of just an expense you wouldn't expect is that we got hit by lightning just about a month ago, and we have some things that are here in our building that when we do get hit, that it goes directly to a piece in our here in our building that basically protects the rest of the electrical. Well, that board that protects that electrical got fried when we got hit. Well, that was a $5,000 piece of equipment that had to be replaced. And unfortunately, that's not something that is on a monthly piece. So when you're doing buildings like this, it's a beautiful building, it's a large building, but you have to be prepared for the things that you don't expect. And so that's putting money away in capital. We always talk about running budgets to cover your general operations, your payroll, things like that. But it's the unexpected stuff that sneak up on you that you never expect. And so being able to really, it's your deferred maintenance costs that you have to put away for. And that's what's really hard when you do have a startup company or a newer company. People usually don't put away for the deferred maintenance aspects. And so for us, having, being aware of what our payroll is, our monthly utility bills, again, water, gas, electric. But the other one that kind of sneaks up on you is the liability insurance. When you run large facilities like this, you have to have liability insurance. That liability insurance can be anywhere between about $40,000 to $70,000 a year, and that's a big check to write when you're a startup company.
Absolutely.
And so you've got to be aware that, hey, I've got to let's average it out and say I've got $50,000 or $60,000 that I've got to write a check just for liability insurance. And nobody sees that cost.
Right.
So that's another piece that's in there too. Your employee or unemployment benefits that you need to pay out when you get things started through payroll, just for protection for yourself with your employees. That's for us. It's another about $12,000 for the year that some people don't see. And so there's all these back end costs that don't get built out. That doesn't really talk much about the marketing piece. This is the general operations. You have your marketing that you want to spend, somewhere between say $3,000 and $5,000 a month in marketing to make sure that you're marketing and getting the programs out and that people know about what you're doing. Those are other things that people look at or that you need to look at as you're doing your budget. Again, your payroll and what's going out in your payroll. A facility like this, you're looking at roughly $40,000 to $50,000 a month in payroll that's going to be going out when you have a facility size fully up and running. Now we're less than that right now, But those are about the average on a facility this large. Where again, the former company, it was much, much larger. They had a lot of salary going out. And so
Mm-hmm.
being very aware of what all these costs add up to. And I would say to anybody, do not overinflate your revenue. If anything, overinflate your expenses and be very conservative on your revenue. And then if you can still balance it, you'll be in good shape. But what
Yes.
happens is, and I've seen a lot of packets go out to investors, and I've seen a lot of, budgets or performance get built. And the first thing I look at is I go, okay, is this built off an actual budget or is this just a projected performa? And if it's a projected performa, I go, okay, whatever revenue you put in, cut it by a third, and that's more
Yeah.
realistically what you might hit. And then whatever expenses you put in, grow it by a third, and
Right.
that's more of what your expenses are going to be. So that's things that doesn't make sense unless you've gone through it many, many times. And so for anybody who is looking to build or create a business around especially pickleball, is that you have to get somebody who has experience in these things to give you the knowledge on the back end things that may not even come to the forefront of your mind while you're doing this. And so those are all the pieces, and there's a lot more with the budget. Whether you're buying food, you're buying basic inventory for your pro shop, or just having to buy employee shirts. Employee shirts.
Yep.
All of a sudden, you're spending $5,000 a year on employee shirts. There are all these little costs that come up, but what on the bigger picture of it, when I talk about expenses with people, they go, "Oh, well, you have all these members, to cover your costs." And my question is, well, let's just go back to the simple addition and subtraction of my electric bill being over $6,000 a month. Well, if my
Mm-hmm.
membership, is we have memberships from $80 a month up to our family membership at $525 a month. Is it how many members do I need to have just to cover my electric bill?
Right.
So, it's hundreds of members if you're doing it at $80, just to cover an electric bill. And so that's not including the liability insurance or the payroll or anything else or a $5,000, piece of equipment that goes out in my server room, that pops up, or having to refinish a floor. We just redid a couple floors here, and that was $20,000. So
Wow.
it's things like that that jump up that people don't quite realize the true cost. And so
Mm-hmm.
business is expensive. It is, and there's a lot more hidden costs, and I could probably sit here for about 2 hours and go through all that. But what I'm saying is, really get an expert to look at what you're doing when you're building it out on your revenue versus expenses, and is it truly going to make sense on the numbers?
Yes. That's so valuable, Matt. Coming back to the memberships, I believe you're gonna cap your membership at 450. Is that correct? You want to cap it at
500. Yeah, it'll be capped at 500.
at 500.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you give us a sense? How did you come up with that number 500?
So quite a bit of the data that I've been looking at is the usage of our courts through our software program, Court Reserve. And so I look at how many members we currently have with the amount of court space, along with the number of hours that we have open of total court usage. And really, it's balancing act. It's a balancing act between the amount of revenue I need coming in to pay my bills, and the amount after that can then be still giving the quality that is expected as a member to be able to get court time use. And so for our facility here, having 8 indoor courts and 2 outdoor courts, that seems to be the magic number for us when I run the numbers and put it together. And so it's really it's looking at all these different pieces of the puzzle to put it together and say, okay, this is the magic number. If we go north of that 500 number, what's going to end up happening is we're going to have too many people getting on wait lists and too many people not getting able to play, which then takes down the quality of membership, which means your retention level is going to end up dropping after year 1 when their contract's up. And that's
Yes.
not what you want. And so there's a fine balance of looking at your open play, your skill play, your leagues, your clinics, your tournaments, all those things that come into it. You have to balance that all out to make sure that you're giving what members would expect.
Yes.
And when you become all about the numbers and you forget about the member quality aspect, that's when your business is going to start going in the wrong direction.
Yes. Okay. And you also mentioned diversifying your income streams is very important. You mentioned pro shop and a bar with food that was already there, but you guys made the decision to add volleyball and basketball. A lot of facilities go with a padel option right now. Why did you choose to do volleyball and basketball instead?
So we're kind of in a desert area for court space. We have the space here for pickleball. There are some more padel courts going up around us, or at least I hear they're going to be going up around us. What we really looked at was what was available for AAU basketball teams, AAU volleyball teams, practice space, event space. And that was really what it came down to, was where could we drive more revenue on rental pieces, and what access could we give. But also part of it too is myself, my wife, even the owners here, we have a huge passion for youth. And I think that's probably because of my days spent at the YMCA and working with families and kids. Is that I absolutely love seeing kids thrive in life. And so what does that mean? That means we have to create an opportunity for them to have social skills and leadership skills and building self-efficacy. And really the sports are a tool for that, is what it comes down to. And so again, I grew up playing basketball and baseball and other sports. My wife, she grew up playing basketball and volleyball. She played in college as well. And so when we just sat down and said, hey, really, how do we want to make this look, and what are good revenue streams for us? It just made sense for us to build a basketball and volleyball here. On
Yep.
top of the owner and his passion that he has with his kids, and wanting to play here. And so that was really where it came from, was a passion for the sport, but also opportunity for revenue that came into it. Where again, padel, it's a great sport. I think it's going to grow and things are going to happen, but it's not a market that we were wanting to get into. We wanted to have a mix where we could bring families in here, youth in here, and also serve the pickleball community with all age and backgrounds. So that was really just how the decision was made.
Understood. Yep. And you guys already have a padel facility in Sarasota.
Mhm.
And but I heard from others that indoor pickleball courts are needed in that area. So that might have been a smart decision. Indoor volleyball courts and basketball courts are
Yeah.
needed. That may have been a very smart decision. Do you guys still have tools like PlaySite? I know that was a huge expense.
Yeah.
Did you guys get rid of that, or did you add another performance analysis tool?
Yeah, we did get rid of Play Site, but I actually went with Save My Play.
Yep.
They I think Play Site and Save My Play are very similar. I think they're direct competitors. They're offering a lot of the same stuff. I think both will end up working through and being able to communicate with Court Reserve, which is our main software that we run. The Save My Play was considerably cheaper. Not that cheaper is always better, but for what I saw in comparable, it just, for us, it made more sense. Where before, yes, the expenses that was being paid for PlaySite, when I found out what the contract was of the former company, I just was blown away of how much was being spent for it, and we were spending nowhere near that amount of money.
Yep.
And so we actually just got the Save My Play cameras installed on our walls, and we were playing with it a little bit yesterday. And the few members that were watching us and seeing them go up, they were really excited. So I'm kind of putting in ways to generate revenue from that as we run tournaments and leagues and do other events here. But also creating a member benefit from some of these on some of our membership tiers, I think is a good way to go as well.
Absolutely. And I remember when I was there, the owners were incredibly involved in the day-to-day operations. They hired an army of staff, but they didn't let them do their job. Talk about your current relationship with the owner, Scott Herman. How involved is he in the day-to-day operations? And how is there a micromanagement aspect, or are you free to do what you want to do?
No, Scott is a fantastic guy who has many, many different businesses. When he bought this building and he and I had met, it was, Matt, you run this as your business. I don't want anything to do with operations. He goes, yes, I own the building, but you're my CEO. You're my guy. You and your family, you guys run it, make it sustainable, make it work. I hope we can build on it. And if it's successful, who knows what we can do in the future? Maybe build more. Who knows? And it was a great conversation to have. And Scott travels often. He's in California, New York, Iowa. I mean, he's all over the place. And again, he has other businesses that he has more to do with what's happening on those. And the last thing he wants to worry about is coming here and having to run a pickleball business with everything that he's doing. And so it's again something that for him it's fun to come in and do. I see him every couple of weeks. He stops in, we meet, he plays pickleball for a few hours, and then he's off and going on to the next adventure. And so he and I have a great relationship. If he needs me, he calls me right away. If I need him, I call him right away, and we just get things done very quickly. It's a great relationship. And I can truly appreciate the fact that he has trusted so much in myself and also in my family. But I also think Scott sees, and I don't want to talk for him, but I could maybe say that I could see this a little bit, that he understands that this is not a job for myself or my wife or my family, that this is our passion.
Right.
That this is something that we are fully 110% committed to making work, but it's not working at a job, it's working at a family business. And that's what it's turned into. And it's not just my kids and my wife, the family business is everybody else that I've hired on. Is that, I care about these people, I want to make sure that we take care of them and make sure that we're doing right. But again, I want to bring people in that want to tell me how we can do it better. I have great ideas, I have great things I want to share and do. And sometimes I have to make those tough decisions on what we're going to do, but I want to hear all the feedback, and I want to know what other people think we can do bigger and better, and how we can be more successful. And so again, it's building the right culture, and Scott allows me to do that. And again, so far it's been very, very successful as far as where we are on our pro forma and our budget and the staff that we brought in. I mean, enough that the old employees who went through a lot wanted to come back because they've heard and seen that it's being ran in a completely different way. And when they're here, they're excited, and they even talk about how there's just such a different feel than there ever was before, and even the members that are here. And so it's got to be a complete team effort with trust. And if you don't have trust and transparency, nothing is ever going to work.
Yes. Yeah, I remember the employee turnover was insane. I've never seen that many people leave an organization disgruntled and upset. So the way you turned it around, that people who used to work there and left disgruntled are now coming back, is amazing. So I understand why Scott is trusting in you. Let's talk about junior pickleball. You briefly mentioned that earlier. Your kids play. And currently, it's not a big revenue stream in nationally, but it's slowly developing. I know you're heavily involved in junior pickleball. Yeah. Can you talk about that? How junior pickleball can be used as a big revenue stream?
Yeah. Well, I think for me, again, going back to the passion aspect, my kids, they're seeing them and how they've excelled in the game of pickleball and what it's done for them socially. And my kids are 15, 14, 11, and 10. And they have social skills that a lot of kids their age don't have. And I know you played with my daughter. She's 15. And she's pretty mature for her age, but her capacity to not get too emotional, while she's competing, especially I know you guys played in the pro level. When you guys played in the was it Punta Gorda or
Yes.
Is that where it was?
Yes.
Okay. To see her do that at 15, where I know a lot of 15-year-olds, I mean, they're crying because their hair is not done right, or just it's something where all emotions, no matter what age, female or male, it doesn't matter. It's being able to have that capacity to make good decisions, stay grounded, keep yourself centered in what you're doing. And pickleball's really done that for them. And also being a very close family, we were still kind of old school where we meet and, or I'm sorry, not meet, but we get together every night for dinner, and eat at the dinner table, and have breakfast together, or try to as much before having to come to work. But the kids really is why we got really into pickleball more than most people would. And so with my kids, they've had an opportunity to travel all over the U.S. and play in tournaments and compete and build relationships with people that they never would have met. And a lot of people only meet people in their direct community, where my kids have met people from all over the world. Especially the U.S. Open, we have people from all over different countries coming in there. And so they've really built up on just their overall skills of being kind of emotionally secure, and again, that the social aspect of being able to communicate well with adults. And so, sorry, it's kind of a long answer, but what really drove us into wanting to develop more youth programs here is that there aren't a lot of kids that get that opportunity. It is kind of the short answer, and the long answer I'd given is that we wanted to give kids an opportunity to thrive and grow. And so we developed the Pickleball Academy, which is a program that is 6th grade through 12th grade, whether they're brand new or advanced, we want to work with them. That academy will be a development program. It's structured where it's 2 days a week for about 2 hours each day. And they'll work with a couple of our coaches and really fine-tune their game and learn how to play. Then we have the Pickleball University, which is meant to be an advanced program to where it'll be up to 3 days a week at 2 to 2.5 hours a day. And those are for kids that have really hit that 4.0 level and above, that want to go and learn more about the professional tournaments around the country. So whether it be in the PPA, the APP, MILP events, junior nationals, whatever it might be, there aren't a lot of families that can spend $1,000 or $2,000 on a weekend or even more to go travel all over the U.S. and play. And so we're hoping that as we get these kids to advance and they want to go play in tournaments, we would treat it similar to like what an AAU or USAV basketball program or volleyball program would be. And we would take teams where we'd have a coach or a director that would take these kids and help sign them up, take them to the tournaments, coach them while they're there, have them stay together in hotel rooms, and similar like you do with AAU basketball. And if parents want to go, great. If not, they have, parental supervision. It's organized. Your kids are being supervised, and then they can have that experience of that tournament. And when the tournament's done, come back and parents can pick them up and, go from there. And so really it's a cost-effective way that can give these kids some exposure to the tournament life.
Sure. That makes sense. All right. We're almost at the end, Matt. This has been absolutely phenomenal. I ask every guest this question. You've already answered a lot of it, but right. If you were to give advice to a first-time facility operator, which it happens a lot now, a lot of facilities are opening up that have either pickle, paddle, wellness, or all three combined. If you had to give them advice to stay in business long term and not go bankrupt after 1 year, what do they have to do?
Well, that's a lot. I'll try to summarize
know.
as best I can, and some of it I did answer as we went along here. I would say educate yourself as much as possible. That means calling people. Take the time to call people and ask the questions, and just talk to whoever will talk to you. Go in willing to learn and make changes, and I know changes can be hard for a lot of people, but understand that new ideas beyond your own can be great, and then learn how to do them correctly. So again, it's that educational piece, and then truly give yourself a realistic budget. And again, be very conscious around the revenue and be very intentional around the expenses. Go over on the expenses, how you budget, and under on the revenue, and they'll balance to a better surprise. Sometimes people put in just wrong numbers, and then they get a year down the road and go, wow, I had no idea this was happening or going to happen. And so as you educate yourself and you learn more about what's really happening, and I think the other big part too is that understand your community, understand the outside environment around your business. Just because a lot of times what's happening in the pickleball world right now is there are a lot of people that are passionate about the sport and they love the sport, and they take that passion and they try to dump it into a business. Mm-hmm. And just because we're passionate about something doesn't mean that we're good business people. Mm-hmm. And so it's now that's going to go into the hiring piece, is that as an owner, sometimes it's best to own something, but then hire the right people on to run your operations, because I've seen too many businesses that owners have destroyed a business because they are too much involved with operations.
Yes.
And so they need to step out of that and allow the staff they've hired on to do what they need to do. And sometimes it's a little bit of a timely process, and you have to be willing to take those risks. So
that sums it up. About very good, Matt. That was so valuable. If people want to learn more about the Pickleball Club Lakewood Ranch and about the membership options, where can they go?
So they can go to our website, and it's www.pickleballclublwr.com. They can also go on, if they have Court Reserve app, they can find us on Court Reserve at the Pickleball Club at LWR. And then a lot of the stuff that we put up is also on our Facebook page. And they can just find us at the Pickleball Club at Lakewood Ranch on Facebook. We do have Instagram and TikTok as well, so all those things get updated. But if not, last case, give us a call. We're more than happy to talk and fill you in on whatever you need to know, and come get a tour. This is probably one of the nicest facilities in the country as far as just how beautiful it is. It's not the biggest, but it is absolutely one of the nicest in the country.
I would agree with you there. All right, Matt, I can't wait to see you again. Thanks for your time. I know you got to get back to running the club. Join us next time on Racquet Biz.
Thank you.
Don't miss the next episode, and subscribe to Racquet Biz on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Like us on LinkedIn and Instagram. See you next week.